gentlemen. This is yet another episode of CWF Backstage Pass. We got a very good episode today. Well, I mean, we're always going to have good episodes, but today's extra special because it's our first episode that is right after a recent show. So, I'm one of your hosts, Gerardo Paz, aka Mr. Hiki, and joining me is.
My name is Wes Bartel. I play Mr. Dangerous. I am the commissioner of the CWF. And with us is.
Hi, everyone. My name's Robert. I play I guess 6 different characters in the CWF now.
6 characters. Wow.
Should I go down the list?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So, Iron Will from My Little Pony. I'll save the best one for last. The next one is Blanca from Street Fighter.
Mm.
Walking Dead.
Mm.
Coach Connors, the wrestling coach from South Park. Dynamic duo of Mitch and Dave from the episode of South Park with the cable company, part of the Get Cable Company.
South Park seems to be a very popular theme with you.
And if you don't know that reference, that's too
bad. And my top tier character, the one that everyone remembers me for, is the Freaky Fish Guy.
Yeah, and you've gotten the belts with 2 characters?
Oh, I got the belt twice with the same character.
Same character with Freaky Fish Guy.
Of course. I see Daniel-san is giving me 5 fishes.
So,
thank you.
Robert's been with us for quite some time. Robert, just to get you more acquainted with our listeners, tell us how you got involved with Cosplay Wrestling Federation.
So, listening to the previous podcast, I was at the very first show, just like Daniel was, when it was WCW, World Cosplay Wrestling.
Yeah.
I was in the crowd, and funny enough, Jeremy was also there, and there's picture proof of us in the crowd, as I pointed out in one of my promos. But so much, I loved just structured like a show so much that I really wanted to try and be a part of it. And after that show, I applied to Fanimania 1.
Mm-hmm.
Failed miserably, in my opinion, at least. I went as I felt like I didn't do as good of a job that I could have. But I went as the tag team of Iron Will and Fluttershy with my friend, and as a tag team, and we tried to. Unfortunately, got our asses handed to us by U.S. and Chris.
Yep. Yep, the combination of Mr. Dangerous and Afro Saiyan. The true Saiyan warriors.
And I tend to have a competitive chip on my shoulder sometimes when it means a lot to me, and I needed to my skills on how to operate in that sort of system that we have for the shows. So I did some practicing on my own and did some research and came back to ALA as the Freaky Fish Guy and won the gold.
I remember that too.
I remember that was against Joseph Joestar.
Yes, it was against Joseph Joestar, who is played by Stan.
Who had won previously at Anime Annihilation.
Yeah, our very first Anime Expo show. Oh, before we continue, I want everyone listening at home to know that, remember how in the last episode I couldn't come up with a good name for the chat room? Well, that has changed tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I want I want to bring your attention to those listening and to those watching the stream to the Green Room. What do you think? Good name? Good name?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, the Green Room. This is well, cause it's it's backstage
Now,
pass, and before you, that's where
yeah,
you
no,
hang.
I get it.
Yeah, okay.
It's good. It's
Okay,
good.
thank God. So, if anybody there listening to us has a question, wants to chime in, please type your comments in the Green Room. We already see Daniel here. I also see Ray Deasy, here. We got a pretty lively room. I see a lot of people typing in. So please type your comments, type your questions, and we'll read them out loud and make it part of the show. Uh, Now, Robert, why did I call you Daniel? Robert, what about your background in with watching professional wrestling? Like,
Yeah, how long have you been watching wrestling? Who's your favorite?
So I stopped watching wrestling when I went to college, and that was around 18 or 19. So I'm really not up to speed on current events between, I want to say, the years 2000 to 2006.
Okay.
And I clearly remember the very first thing that sort of got me into watching wrestling, and it was the most awkward event that I saw because I thought it was an actual like newscast that was happening on myself here UPN channel 13.
so it was an episode of SmackDown.
Yeah. And it started off with, this was again the weirdest thing that got me into it. The Big Show at his father's funeral.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And then Big Boss Man hit the casket out of the grave while the Big Show watched as it drove off in the distance.
No, it not only drove off in the distance,
he jumped on the coffin and like rode it out.
And I'm like, is this actually happening?
Oh,
I thought it was actual news happening, but no, it was SmackDown. And I'm like, oh, I gotta see where this is going.
That was the time when Big Boss Man was acting like a giant dick. I don't know if it was before or after that storyline where he captured Al Snow's dog and cooked it, then fed it to Al Snow.
What the hell?
And then
what is that?
The worst part was the dog's name was Pepper, and then they had a Pepper on the pole match. So they were fighting over who could own the remains of the dog.
Oh my God.
This was real. Later they had a Kennel from Hell match, which was a Hell in a Cell match, but they had dogs patrolling the cage side. And the whole thing was like, oh my God, if you go out there, the dogs will attack you. When in reality, the dogs were like really scared, and they started taking a crap everywhere around the ring. It's considered one of the worst matches in WWE history.
Oh man!
As they say in entertainment, never work with children or animals.
Oh, they definitely do say that.
But yeah, that's how I got into watching wrestling.
All right.
That was like, I think also the Invasion era. ECW invaded or something, right?
Yeah, that was definitely a few years later. That's when WCW and ECW were acquired. Then they did the Invasion angle, which is probably one of the biggest missed opportunities in storytelling in wrestling history.
But yeah, that's like when I came around to starting liking this stuff, and it was a very exciting time for me, at least in terms of wrestling, and just watching them do all these crazy stunts, crazy acrobatics, and crazy acts. I fell in love with it.
It's really interesting with Robert, where when he pitches a lot of characters, I do at least give him homework to look up certain wrestlers' antics. Like remember Coach Connors and his presentation of real wrestling versus fake wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not wrestling. That's just wrestling.
and he had a presentation that was totally inspired by Drew Gulak from 205, which he had PowerPoint
Ah.
presentations.
Yeah, and I watched some of his promos, and it made a lot of sense. And I took it and tried to morph it into my own thing, and it somehow worked very well with the audience, surprisingly.
Okay, we got a question in the green room from PWO for Life. Curious to ask, to participate as a competitor at HentaiCon, was it a free day access to HentaiCon? We're definitely going to answer that question when we get to HentaiCon, so please stay tuned. But I just want to let you know we did not ignore that question. All right, so let's get to the question of the day, which is, given your current physical status, right? What
Mhm.
would be your finisher, and what would its name be? And I remember, Wes, I think you should go first because the moment I asked that question, you went done.
I know exactly what I know. Um, I'm a big guy. I'm not particularly tall, but I got a lot of mass. However, I can run a little bit. So my special move, my signature move would be I run against the ropes, spear tackle. I would call it the harpoon. It would allow you. They just got to be in the center of the ring. You make a big deal out of it by going off the ropes, and then being such a large guy, that person would be knocked off their feet, go straight on their back, go for a pin, boom,
Would,
harpooned.
would this be one of those moves that you just kind of do it in a flash, or would you kind of Roman Reigns it, where you give it a big like ooh showmanship thing?
Um, I would probably do it in a flash because the best part about a spear is totally not expecting it. But if you know the character, you see him go off one rope and then a second rope, and you know what's coming. But only if you watch the show. So it becomes an inside thing. Get
Kind of,
it?
yeah, yeah, kind of like how everybody gets hit by John Cena's "You Can't See Me,"
Exactly, exactly.
even though
It's
you
like,
shouldn't.
yeah, it takes so much time to set up.
And he like goes like, "I'm doing my move now."
Hello, I wave my hand in front of my face, and whoops. How about you, Robert? Do you have an
I
answer?
I thought about it,
Hmm.
and this would actually be pertaining to the freaky fish persona
All
because
right.
I've always wanted to kind of do this, and again, I'm dating myself here. My move would be called the fish.
It's
Hmm.
called the. Wait. Pause. I'm going to
Okay.
effing guess what you're. Is it based off of Scotty Too Hottie?
Yes, it is based off of Scotty Too Hottie,
Oh my
and it
god. Can you describe it for
almost
those that don't know?
instead of what he does is like he gets all riled up, spreads his arms, hops on his left leg like 4 times,
To spell
does the work
WORM.
and does the worm, and then like sways left and right and does like an elbow drop. Instead of the worm, I would flop on the floor like a fish. I mean, obviously, I would go FISH, flop on the floor like a fish, do the wave, and then elbow drop.
Hmm. That's good.
It's
That's perfect. Gee, what do you got?
okay. So, um, I've always been a fan of strikes to the head,
Hmm.
and I thought Randy Orton's penalty kick was one of the most brutal moves in wrestling. But
Uh-huh.
my variant would be that they're lying on their back, and I'd run the rope, and I'd soccer kick the side of their head.
You the only problem with that is
Well, it's the side of their head. You can't fake it.
yeah. Yeah, people die from that. Um and there it was so not it wasn't even fun to look at. It was just kind of like, I'm gonna kick you in the head now. Ah,
Yeah, but I would like it where it's the side of their head, and I would basically call it the brain scrambler. Um, I'm if I had a finisher, I definitely would like because this is me from my days of playing wrestling video games, where you wanted a finisher that could be done anywhere in the arena,
it's
even
funny you say
outside.
that. I always took bear hug because you just need to be standing up. You just need to both be standing up. Boom.
Yeah, you could, uh, and you could do it to big people, and that
Mm,
that is a finisher that can be done on anyone of any size. Either that or the curb stomp. I really like the curb stomp. I don't know what I'd call it, but there's just something really cool about that move. It looks very impactful. It it just has a very unique setup, and I think I just fell in love with that move the first time I saw it.
if I was to work out a little more, which I currently am, uh, I would love to do a version of Tres Amigos.
Oh,
Like a
Eddie Guerrero, Three Amigos,
yes. Oh man, I loved that. I thought it was such a cool move,
especially when
and
he
that
like whips his legs around.
yeah, yeah, like it's really cool. And as a former collegiate wrestler, like I loved suplexes. So gee,
Yes.
there were two shows that happened recently.
Yes, there are. Uh, for those looking for really detailed reviews and in-depth analysis of these two shows, I will say we're sad to disappoint. We're not going to spend too much time with them. One because one is very very good and you should see it on yourself, and the other one's very very bad where I haven't seen it. So, do you want to start with the good one or the bad one, Wes?
We'll start with a good one
Uh,
because the bad one's probably funny.
all right. So, oh, Daniel Sun 555 posted, given my stature and my persona, I would do an Iron Sheik inspired camel clutch called the Millennium
It's
Lock.
it's perfect.
It, it it's
It's not even funny because it's so good.
it's either the camel clutch or it would be the Master Lock from Chris Masters. That's another variation I could see. Camel clutch is a camel clutch is a mean move. Uh,
A mean move?
Yeah, it's mean. It's just like that. That's like one of those submissions you go, ugh.
Looks really difficult to escape for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I
That's
don't.
from the era where they were less concerned about your well-being in their brain.
Well, they still do it. Uh,
Really?
yeah, the accolade,
Wow.
Rusev's accolade is the camel clutch.
Oh.
Oh, surprised by that. Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to the good one. The good one was Evolution.
I was really excited. I'm really mad that I missed it because some of my favorite matches these days with the WWE and NXT is all the ladies matches because they are really good a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, ugh, wait. If I say it like that, it sounds like I'm about to disagree. No, absolutely. They're really good, especially now. We've definitely entered a modern era of wrestling where fans will take a women's match seriously and give it the amount of respect it deserved.
Mm.
Because we said it before, but I mean, we love the Attitude Era, but it wasn't very fair to a lot of groups, and women was one of them. Especially a women's match back in the day. Oh my god, like
Yeah.
you either slapped and pulled hair, and maybe if you were lucky, you got a snapmare.
Yeah. Oh man, it was always just so limited.
It's
Yeah, I think the only person I remember knowing back in the day that was actually pretty decent was Trish Stratus.
yeah, Trish Stratus, and then when AJ Lee and Beth Phoenix started wrestling, it's like wow, we're actually seeing real wrestling moves.
Oh, she was my favorite.
Like oh my god, a suplex, and you never saw that in a women's match, and now what we're, I mean, it's not just WWE. We're seeing women do all kinds of moves: power drivers, stiff kicks, Japanese strong style, moonsaults, 450s, corkscrews, suicide dives.
Oh man. So tell me about the event.
Okay, so all I'm gonna say about Evolution was top to bottom. It was, it, it was a joy. It made me a happy man. Even the Royal Rumble was good.
Was
Uh,
it?
yeah, I'm not gonna. There's this one part where Nia Jax and Tamina were both staring down each other, and they were kicking all the women's asses, and they've been really teasing that these two are gonna go at it, but then suddenly both of them do the Roman Reigns yell, the ooh, and they start beating up everyone because it was a tribute to Roman, and oh, that got
Yeah.
me. That got me. Uh,
Oh man.
EO versus I'm blanking on her name. The Mae Young Classic match. Tony Storm versus Io Shirai, amazing. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler, great. Uh, the opening match with Lita, it wasn't exactly the best match of all time, but I enjoyed myself. And Becky and Charlotte, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, those women beat the living hell out of each other, and it was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, so not gonna go too much about the results, just because it's definitely the quality of
It's
that pay per view made you feel less guilty for giving WWE your $9.95 that month.
9.95. Well, that's good. It's one to go back and actually watch.
Yeah, definitely go back and watch.
Okay. But Crown
Oh,
Jewel.
there was one thing. There's one other
Uh,
thing I wanted to talk about Evolution. It was lean. It was a nice 2 hour show, and it was done by the NXT team,
hmm,
the NXT production team. So they had the black lights, and you know how NXT, their takeovers are just match, bam, bam, bam. Nope, just no filler. It's just nice, solid wrestling. You got out at a good time, and you just really felt good about yourself.
yeah, all their matches are always uh, all their stories are contained in the matches, which makes it more interesting. I feel.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Crown Jewel. I'm gonna
Crown Jewel.
What?
yes, I'm gonna disclaim. I'm gonna put a disclaimer. I did not
Mm,
watch Crown Jewel.
okay.
I did not want to watch Crown Jewel. Uh,
Mm,
in fact,
What?
originally we were thinking about maybe possibly having a viewing party of Crown Jewel at HentaiCon, and then when all this stuff happened, I said, no, we're not. No, I mean, we're.
So what? Enlighten me. What was wrong with Crown Jewel?
Crown Jewel is a wrestling pay per view. Actually, great you asked that, Robert. Uh, Crown Jewel is a wrestling pay per view that takes place in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I heard
yeah.
the controversy.
Yes, and well, even more so is that WWE is really painting itself as this big, progressive, people first company. Like, look at our charity, look at us being real progressive with women, and now we're gonna go do a show in Saudi Arabia, and the women can't come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not,
their numbers were great on the floor, but that doesn't make it right to exclude women from the show.
but
But
and the card was great. I mean, it had a list of really good matches like Miz versus Daniel Bryan, but people like John Cena and Daniel Bryan went no fu, got out of the show. And I'm reading the results, okay? Oh god, I'm glad I missed it. Oh god. Let's start with the less painful one. Brock Lesnar's now champion again.
uh,
uh,
I don't,
sarcasm intended.
Yeah.
like he's. I don't like a part timer being a champ so often, but that's a personal thing, I
Well,
guess.
it's more so we've already gone. We just got out of the woods. It's like climbing out of a big hole and then you get kicked back down again.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about Brock Lesnar that's gonna be said, but And I know you were curious before this episode, Wes. You were interested in the World Cup
Yeah.
to determine best in the world.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna go too in depth on the matches leading up to it, but I will say the finals were Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. Right, which people are going, wow, this is heel versus heel.
It's Beverly Hills versus Venice Beach.
And what's gonna happen? Is someone gonna turn face? Is what would happen? Because WWE rarely does heel versus heel matches. I think the last time I saw heel versus heel was Survivor Series last year with Baron Corbin versus The Miz. Miz is involved in a lot of heel stuff. Anyway, during the match, Miz gets hurt going over the barricade, so he's injured. He can't continue. So Shane McMahon he enters himself, then beats Dolph Ziggler.
What?
I'm going to repeat this because when I read it, I thought this was kayfabe news. I thought this was the Onion. Yes, Shane McMahon enters himself in a tournament that he was not originally part of at the last possible moment. He fucking final bosses himself, beats Dolph Ziggler with the coast to coast, and is now best in the world.
That's.
It just reminds me of the first time Shane did that.
Well, it's okay when Shane did it, but it's like if we had a Dragon Ball Z tournament, right? What's the tournament in Dragon Ball called?
There's lots of them.
The one with the announcer guy.
Budokai Tenkaichi?
Yeah, the
Budokai.
Yeah, the Budokai tournament. Right? And everybody's fighting, and all of a sudden the finals is, I don't know, Cell versus Goku, but then Mr. Popo comes in and wins. It's just stupid. Oh God!
The announcer comes in and wins. It's
Actually, no.
Jesus.
If the announcer comes in, I wouldn't be mad.
Well, I wouldn't be mad, but I'd also be mad. As a viewer, I wouldn't be mad, but as someone in the tournament, I would definitely be bad. Thank you, Daniel-san. Tenkaichi Budokai.
Daniel-san also says, I could dig it if the announcer won.
Yeah, I bet.
I bet. I just never... I've seen bad tournaments, but I've never seen a winner of a tournament arc in any fictional media be someone who wasn't in the tournament.
Oh, man.
Well, have you seen that happen before? Because I sure as hell haven't.
No.
Not really.
Because that's an incredibly unprofessional thing to do.
All right. I think the best comment I read on Reddit about it was they said that this was Crown Jewel being shitty was maybe Vince's way of making a show so bad that Saudi Arabia will cancel the contract.
Well, how was it received over there?
Oh my! So when Shane won, he was getting "This is awesome" chants.
Okay.
The Saudis were popping off.
Hey, there are a lot of really, really smart people behind the scenes at the WWE. Maybe this is something that population might actually really enjoy. Maybe they all love Shane McMahon. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just
that just seems like a really odd and not well thought out decision.
I'm usually very lenient toward WWE, but just
Sure.
everything about this show was a freaking mess. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Oh man.
I think we've said all we needed to say about the first two. So summarize, watch Evolution when you get the chance. It's a short
Pass
show.
on Crown Jewel.
And pass on Crown Jewel. Maybe skip ahead and watch Shane McMahon win so you could have 5 minutes of him awkwardly dancing to Here Comes the Money and running around. He wasn't even in ring gear. He wrestled in jeans and a black tank top.
Of course, good old Shane.
All right.
Actually, I'm not surprised because you know who else does that? His dad. Remember when he came back and wrestled?
Yeah.
when his dad came out and he was just super jacked. He had like the veins coming out of his arms and shit.
Well,
He also wore like black tank top and
at
jeans.
least Vince would sometimes wear a muscle shirt and a do rag.
Please, never, never. Ugh.
Never again.
Okay, let's go on to something fun. HentaiCon.
HentaiCon. I
Hentai.
had a much better time doing that than I thought I would.
All right, hentai. For those who don't know, HentaiCon was a convention that just took place this weekend, November 3rd to 4, actually 2nd to 4, in
Mm.
Burbank, right? Burbank,
Yes,
Burbank, California.
Burbank, California, at the old Anime Los Angeles Hotel.
aka the Shadow Realm.
Uh, full disclosure, and this is where I answer your question, PWO. Every member of Cosplay Wrestling Federation was provided a full weekend badge to HentaiCon for doing the show. And HentaiCon also went above and beyond for us by providing us a hotel room, which we used extensively for
We should.
storage.
I would like to point out though that this is both a rare occasion and not something that we usually get. So if your idea is to get a free badge from doing the CWF show, pass, because we don't get a ton of free badges often.
We don't get a ton of free badges. This was a very unique circumstance for us just because HentaiCon came to us for content.
Right. Which
Same.
is very different. We usually apply to each of the conventions that we play at, but HentaiCon decided that it wanted us, and so we gave it money shot.
And I think it goes without saying that we are all very appreciative of
Incredibly
what
grateful.
We're incredibly grateful, but we're going to be talking about HentaiCon at length, but I just wanted to give everyone the full disclosure of what we were provided. It's kind of like game reviews when they say, we got a copy for free, blah, 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 blah. This is just sake of fairness.
Sure.
Now, with that
So-
said,
I was there every day. I got it. Are we going to talk about just the show or the convention itself?
let's talk about let's talk about the convention.
Okay. Convention was pretty small, but it had kind of a cozy feel that really forced you to participate in the different things that were going on there. And they actually had a lot of things going on in the theme of HentaiCon. But they also had things like comedy shows, games, workshops. There was a guest that went on or did a panel about how to break out in the pornography business, which is something you don't really hear about. So it was also a business convention for some people, which blows my mind every time I think of that.
More like blows your load.
No.
Ayo.
Yo.
Nope, sure doesn't. Knowledge doesn't do that for me. Anyways, but it was popping on Saturday, but Friday and Sunday were both pretty mellow.
But it was the good. I would assume the good kind of mellow,
mm,
not like dead con. I'm bored mellow.
almost. It was almost dead con. If you weren't out doing panels or waiting for one of the guests to like sign something, it was kind of slow. But you got to realize that we were fighting with
This
we were
con.
fighting with BlizzCon, LA Comic Con, and TwitchCon were the week before.
All of
We
which
also
very
had-
expensive.
all of which very expensive. But they asked for us, so of course we went there. I had a really good time.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of. It felt very reminiscent of YowieCon.
Except
Really?
smaller.
Yeah, except small. Yeah, YowieCon is a for those listening
Mm.
who don't know, YowieCon is a.
Oh,
What was that? Oh,
nothing. Go ahead.
okay. YowieCon is a San Francisco-based convention around the fandom of yaoi media, be it manga, anime and such. In fact, YaoiCon staff was present at HentaiCon, but what really makes YaoiCon have its own flavor besides the yaoi uh,
Oh, oh.
is it's a very sexually charged convention. You see a lot of
Really?
YaoiCon has a special section of staff called the Bishonens. They're people who provide entertainment to YaoiCon. Uh, they are involved in programming like Bishonen Bingo, where you buy a bingo card, and then if you win, you pick a Bishonen you want, and they strip off an article of clothing. Kevin Wong, aka Le Shaded Decree, is a frequent Bishonen. They also have the Bishonen auction, where you could bid on a Bishonen for a date, and Bishonens could range on the low range, could get on the low range of like 200 to the mid range of $500, $600 to
Holy
as
cow.
high as $1,000.
Mm.
And
Wow.
a lot of these Bishonens, a lot of the cosplayers walk out in very skimpy outfits, but
Wow.
people don't effing care, and that's
Oh no.
and it was very much like that at HentaiCon.
All I'll say is Fujo's beyond some next level shit every time they're at YaoiCon.
Yeah, but HentaiCon felt very similar. Actually, I wanted to go back. YaoiCon is so sexually charged that in your con swag bag, okay? So you get the program guide.
Oh.
You get two things. You get a special door hanger for your hotel room. It says, "Do not disturb yaoi
It's
in
your
process."
sock on the door.
Yeah, it's your sock on the door, but it was made by the convention, and in some years they would actually give condoms.
And
Oh.
those I've seen it. Those condoms actually have like YaoiCon printed on them too.
This was
Which
a
is
convention that
nuts.
they fully anticipated that their fans would be fucking.
Jesus.
Nuts.
It's
But
Well,
speaking
At
of-
least they care.
they care.
At least they care.
hey, no one wants an outbreak at a convention. That would be terrible. But speaking of outbreak, wow, our panel was great.
Yeah, our panel was really good. We were in the demo room, which had a raised stage and a stripper pole next to it for some reason. Probably
There was something going on at other times.
They also had a BDSM mount in the corner.
Yeah, they had the sawhorse.
YaoiCon. I mean, not Yaoi. HentaiCon was a con very laser focused in what it wants, but the panels were like intro into bondage.
Mm. There was a lot of really informative things there.
It was laser
Yeah.
focused. It knew
was-
what it wanted. It didn't try to like spread itself too thin like Doctor Who 101. No, it's just y'all here for porn, y'all here for fucking. Here's the material.
Yep. There's nothing more to that. It's just
Actually,
here you go have fun.
Robert, we didn't get your account. What did you think of the
Oh.
con?
I was only there for one day, and that was
Hmm.
Saturday because some things came up over the weekend. I was intending to go for at least 2 days, but my girlfriend and I, we ended up going on Saturday.
Mhm.
Initially, I was very skeptical about the environment, about the atmosphere at the con, because I've never been to a sexually charged convention before.
Mm.
Which
and
I'm very surprised because I saw your Gong Show outfit with the gold booty shorts.
yeah, and that's because the Gong Show is hidden in the dank, dark corners of Anime Expo and Fanime, where very few people see it. So
You can get away
it's
with a little extra.
yeah, it's very interesting when everyone's on the same page at the convention. Believe, you know what I mean? It just feels a little different. But when we arrived, it felt like a regular. The topic being anime pornography, and not at all did I feel uncomfortable after like the first everyone was there to have a good time, meet some celebrities, go to some panels, play some interesting games, and I mean, a lot of the stuff that you would see were there, except without
Yeah,
clothes, right?
yeah.
With
Everything was
very
pretty low
without
key.
It's low key, and I think what's really good is a lot of this stuff like hentai and even yaoi. Normally, there's a stigma of shame around it. Like you want
Well,
to.
not there.
Yeah, not there. It's something that you it's a fact and an interest that you hide from yourself, but now you get to share it with other people. You could buy your doujin, buy your porn in full view of everyone, and nobody cares. And I think there's something about that is very liberating. I myself am not the
It's
type, but I can appreciate that sentiment.
it's so beautiful.
It,
There was
it,
there
and
were people there were people doing VR games where they're just pounding at a VR girl with a cactus. It was great.
Yeah, Mission Star Podcast writes, not to mention most anime cons also forbid it or hide it in the back. Yeah,
Mm.
um, I know at I think Fanime where if you have to sell 18 plus material, you got to put it in a special box and kind of hide it. And then when someone asks, then you could pull it and make sure no one else could see it. So it just got like this shady business deal going. Maybe, we could definitely talk about the con more, but let's go ahead and talk about Money Shot, the CWF show that we brought to HentaiCon.
oh man, it was fabulous. It was amazing.
So tell
I
us again who you were.
I was part of the duo of Mitch and Dave from the Get Cable Company, and that was from a South Park episode. Parents were watching murder mystery porn, and the kids were trying
Ah,
to stop them from watching murder mystery porn by hiding the password behind Minecraft. How to play Minecraft.
oh
Oh
god.
God, that's like the old YouTube days where you would you would upload porn or illegally downloaded episodes and misspell the names or something.
Yeah. So the kids had to go to the cable company to try and do this, but I'm sure everyone has had a bad experience with the cable company, but this one definitely rubbed their nipples in their face. And it's
Literally.
just two guys in regular, work clothes, except they had nipple flaps. They caused someone to feel anguish for having to wait. They would rub their nipples.
Real quick, I see
That's
a
good.
notice in the green room that Sergeant Gunso has given us a great triangle bit. How much is that worth? The great
One.
triangle? One?
It says right next to it. One
One
shit.
money shot.
One money shot. I thought the different symbols meant different connotations. Anyway, thank you, Sergeant, for the bit. Money shot. Alright.
Uh,
Uh, so
that so I was partnered up with Sam, um, and this is our
Sam, who
first
plays reality. Just
another South Park character, believe it
mm,
or not. And this was our first venture into tag team because we want to do some other types of tag teams down the road, but we wanted, especially me, I wanted to make sure that we had a rapport, and I think what we provided at Money Shot showed that we really are on the same page with a lot of things.
oh yeah, definitely. And you guys did great. You made it to the final round.
yeah, and it's really your dynamic was really interesting where Robert was clearly the lead, and Robert would say something and then Sam would parrot it back like yes exactly, or Robert would be like blah 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 blah, and Sam would and this. So it was really cool where you had both guys getting their stuff in, but you could clearly tell who's kind of the leader and who's kind of the lackey. It was it's definitely an act that really benefited from two people.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and when I talked with Sam about it because we were preparing for we I had the idea like back when Money Shot was open for applications, and I was like, Sam, you want to get in on this? And he said, yeah. It sounded like a great idea. It made sense. I mean, what better way to piss people off at a hentai convention than restrict their pornography?
It's great.
Uh,
Gold.
in addition to Get Cable, going down the list of characters, we had Catwoman.
She
Catwoman
was so good.
played by Chun-Li. Oh my god, she was, I think...
I
Oh
loved
yeah,
it.
I enjoyed her act so much.
She had an attention to detail that I just really appreciated. Um, uh, Going as the like, was it 1950s?
the Eartha Kitt Catwoman.
Yeah. She was doing her mannerisms, but when she was going down through her walk on, she started doing like 80s walk on or ladies walk ons. So she was basically doing a strip routine, a floor routine down the aisle as Catwoman, and I really appreciated that.
Some of the things I really appreciated of her act was the fact that she still acted like a cat, like an actual cat.
Yes,
She
yes,
Eh,
yes, yes.
she had a stuffed bird in her mouth and spit it on the table for Lashada.
I
Yeah.
think one of my favorite lines was that if she were to win the hen title, she would put it on her pedestal and then knock it off.
Yes, yes, I love that line. The room loved it too.
That's a good detail to talk about. Since this was our first show, Glenn, who plays Odie Aries, was very kind enough to make a statue with the hentai logo and the HentaiCon color scheme, and we called it the Hen title. It's not the first time we had a trophy up for grabs, but it was just really cool to have a have a prize in full view, so everybody knew what they were fighting for. Um, Daniel-san 555 is commenting that HentaiCon was standing room only, with an extra row of people sitting in the front row. And I think
Yeah.
this is really worth mentioning, especially to Wes and Robert, since we've all were at the first show. It felt very similar to World Cosplay Wrestling in that regard.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was so packed. Like usually when the contestants are prepping, we usually reserve the back row to sit, but there was just so many people that we all had to get up and just move to the corner. It was, and then the back row filled up, and then the very back wall filled up.
And then the
yeah.
front row in front of the people.
I think there were like 80 chairs in there, and we probably fit
Like
110 people. There were about
at
30 people
least.
standing. Yeah.
And people would come in and try to fit in the corner of the room where the stage was, just
Mm.
so that they could view the show. It was, I would say, a big hit for this convention to say,
Yeah, it's great when you have the small, intimate shows because it feels really strong, and but you still get to be real personal with an audience.
and one thing that I really appreciated was that the audience was new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of them.
80. I want to say 70% new.
And that's the thing. Like usually, our shows, our memorable shows, are so packed that people cannot get in. But this was a prime opportunity for a lot of new viewers that have heard of the show but never seen it live to get a firsthand account of what we have to offer.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. Someone was yelling at the front about how he could never get to the show because the only other con he goes to is AX,
And
and
Uh,
AX
that
is the hardest show to get into.
yeah,
it
As an
is
audience member.
it is
it's
a
only
200 cap limit right there, and there's probably a 2,000 person line.
I feel like the easiest way to get into AX show to watch it is to just be a wrestler.
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
I would
So
agree.
yeah,
Um,
it is just,
Packed.
and I just I want to reiterate that because I actually at the most recent AX Extreme show
Mm.
out to pander to the line like 3 times around the South Hall line. Looked, I mean, the thing looked enormous. There, I felt bad for a lot of the people because they weren't going to be able to see the show, but there was just so much love for us and so much just people want to see us, but they that opportunity is not there, unfortunately.
Right. And so HentaiCon was a real thumbs up from a lot of people.
So,
A lot of new people.
a lot of new people, a lot of the wrestlers. I just want to go down the card real quick for Money Shot. We had
Right.
Mitch and Dave from the Get Cable Company, Catwoman.
Mm.
We had Tommy Wiseau's actor come in as a Finn Balor inspired Commander Riker, complete with Commander Riker cutout, but he wore an open robe and wrestling shorts. I explained to my friend, he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy came in as super sexy Commander Riker," and he went, "Oh, regular? Oh, you mean Commander Riker?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. He was all like scantily clad," and he's, "Oh, you mean Commander Riker?" uh, Soap,
And,
Soap from the late comedy show fame, who came in as an envoy and was delivering
I
a warning to CWF,
can't
not
wait to see that. I can't wait.
especially.
So
It
interesting.
was interesting, especially since Soap got the asshole chant. He was over the moon with his performance.
Uh,
I was worried at first because like this is weird, but look, he pulled it
Fans
off.
loved it.
Fans loved it. Let's see, Soap. Jeremy came as Super Mario, led the show.
Right.
Rico as Killer T Cell, who ended up winning the Hen title. His whole big catchphrase was to protect the con from STDs, which he pointed to the other wrestlers and will suplex them out of the body. Special note that he brought Mr. Hiki on stage for a biology lesson and said that he had a raging boner ever since he came into the con. Yeah.
Jesus.
If you ever get the chance to watch the stream is on our YouTube page, ladies and gentlemen. You should really watch it. One, because it's a fun show. Uh, Two, it's because of Commander Riker and Robert and Sam with all the nipple action that we streamed it to YouTube and not Twitch.
there's a lot of nipple action between me and Sam, like a lot of nipple action.
And Twitch is very like no with shirtless stuff. And on top of that, you could see me playing Mr. Hiki reacting to everything, and I really make it a point to have proper reactions to what everyone's doing. Okay, so we got Soap, we got Ryan, we got Catwoman, we got
Isaac,
Isaac All Might, who came in as the ravishing Dick Lude.
Oh my goodness.
that
So
was surprising.
I love original characters that come out. His original character threw me through a goddamn loop. I was just so surprised.
Because
Oh yeah,
his
and
his,
I,
his
and I,
outfit was a bathrobe, and he was channeling Rick Rude, and he did a strip. He would slowly and sensually remove the robe to Careless Whisper. The highlight for Dick Lude was he took the Commander Riker cardboard cutout and started humping it.
I had to pick that up. Oh,
oh,
uh, Christina came back as Brittany and just spent 5 minutes shit talking anime fans.
oh, she was kink shaming the whole time.
And it was great. Everyone hated her.
Oh man.
and Glenn still has
Glenn as
Onier.
Oni Aries, but as a face.
Yeah, that was very interesting to see that.
It was great because like that part of kayfabe, he's a heel everywhere else, but at HentaiCon amongst his people, he's a face. He's a man of the people of HentaiCon. Oh, and the three-pronged dawn. That's right, Daniel-san.
Yeah, the three-pronged dong, which was it was a giant triple tentacle cod piece
God,
that
yes.
he tried to put on, but then he couldn't. But the highlight was when he imaginary jerked it off and then threw a roll of toilet paper into the crowd.
Yeah, he threw like a white streamer or something.
Yes.
And it was just so good. It was really creative. Really enjoyed that.
It was it's definitely you could definitely tell when you've been in enough CWF shows which crowds are new and which crowds have been around the block a few times. And the newer crowds tend to be more polite in
Mm.
terms of they
Who
don't
they
get.
love and who they hate,
Oh
right?
no, not that, not that kind of polite. Polite in terms of they don't make noise unless you cue them. Like,
Mm.
say this, woo, or can I get this, woo, and they don't talk out of turn. They don't start chants as much. And, that's not me bashing on them. That's it's it's
That's
it's
just a fact.
it's a fact. It's a hard instinct to overwrite. Talking out of turn, yelling at people, saying you suck. You don't normally do that in a presentation setting. It feels weird.
I definitely noticed that when Sam and I were up there in our initial promo stage, people didn't seem eager to boo, and then they started, and people got more comfortable as we just started naming worse and worse things. But I think at that point they got the gist of what they would be responsible for as an audience member, just to have fun with it,
Mm.
really. And that's really all we ask a lot of the times from the audience member is to run with it. It's when as a wrestler you're cutting a promo, it's almost like you're having a conversation with the audience.
Yeah.
That's it takes two to have a conversation, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it is, and,
It,
and in wrestling, making noise is the greatest way for a wrestler to know if they're doing well.
for us, the entire thing is about crowd interaction. So, keeping that in mind, being able to get the crowd to react is pretty important,
Especially as a bad guy,
Oh
especially
yeah.
as a bad guy.
because
Um,
you, you
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 gotta you gotta be pretty low down, and you gotta be pretty good at being low down.
you gotta you're in trouble if you say something like I'm gonna kick puppies and then you hear nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, what? You all cat people? I'll kick them too. Uh,
The thing that I find interesting though is that, and I've been trying to learn how to become a better heel
mm,
characters that I adopt.
Hmm.
But Sam is one of the best, if not the best heel in our roster
yeah.
as reality. He knows which buttons to press,
Amen to
and
that. I think my favorite line for Sam was 2 year, 3 years or 2 years ago.
3 years
Three
ago.
years ago. Oh,
I know which one you're saying.
yeah, where he says if I at Anime Expo, he says if I don't get my got that goddamn belt next year's Anime Expo, the lines will be longer, the sun will be hotter, and there will be more homestucks than you could count.
And there was.
And you couldn't even hear your own thoughts at the sea of booze that
oh yeah,
line got. Uh,
so loud.
and
We've only had one heel win the belt though, and that's Dio.
Oh, that's kind of questionable sometimes because he ended up winning over the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
he did, but I wanna get back to the selection of characters for Money Shot real quick.
Mm.
And what made this show special isn't just the fact it was at HentaiCon. It's just that these are characters that would only do well at HentaiCon. I mean,
Yes.
okay, Catwoman can go and that's a money act. Dick Lude, no.
Itch
Oh
and Dave, no.
no, and
I
it's
don't know. Dick Lude could go places.
he
Just
could
saying.
he could maybe, but I really appreciated the convention. This show had a different flavor from the rest of the show.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot. We forgot to tell Yami Yugi. Yami
Of
Yugi was
course. Now
there.
you.
Yami Yugi was there. Sorry, Daniel, for not being first to mention, but he was in his special leather outfit.
With a big poster of Little D.
Little D.
I I remember when Daniel changed into it. He just said I look. He said I looked at myself and I'm wearing this Like Daniel was beside himself. He looked like he walked when he didn't have the wig. He looked like he just walked out of a high schooler who walked out of Hot Topic.
Oh man,
Uh,
Like
I,
I don't know.
I
It's like
really feel that outfit really channeled Squall from Final Fantasy VIII.
it's so
Just take off his jacket and boom.
he looked like. And oh dang, we love you.
Yeah, this isn't negative at all.
This is the difference because when he wears the wig, you're like, oh man, that's just Japanese anime fashion. When he's not wearing the wig, he looks like the missing third Hardy Boy or something.
Put the sock glove on his
The
hand.
sock glove. Look, it's a fashion outfit that I'm glad died.
Oh my god, he felt so dirty. He's Dirty Dan. Oh,
Because you have to keep in mind that Daniel doesn't wear stuff like that flamboyant. Kevin does. Kevin regularly wears
Sure.
leather booty shorts. Daniel, whenever you see Daniel on a casual day, he's in a Hawaiian shirt and
button down Hawaiian shirt.
button down Hawaiian shirt and really loose shorts or khaki shorts. Just the most low key of like dad fashion. So when he goes to that, it's an adjustment.
It's a different-
yeah, it's like, what happened to you, buddy?
All right. So,
The
yeah.
winner obviously was Rico as Killer T, and
Killer T,
my God,
honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting him to win, and then he really pulled it out.
he nailed everything he needed to do up there, and I am not only impressed, but I am proud that he was able to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him develop from the very beginning to what he is now, and he is starting to get comfortable with the groove of the characters that he plays, and I'm just like, I was blown away and
Absolutely
impressed.
This has been a very good year for new competitors. Ryan won as Tommy Wiseau. We had Christina. He won as Agretzko, and
It was Shy that won, but
why did I say it's my bad. Shy won as Agretzko. Christina in the finals. Nico winning Mag West. So
yeah, it was. It is a good year for a lot of the newer wrestlers, and Rico just. I know he won his Killer T, but I have a personal bias of who I really want him to win as.
oh, you make that bias clear every day you see him. At the, at-
Rico, if you are listening, God, please bring back Zubaz. I miss the Zubaz so much. There is no evidence of the Zubaz, but I miss it so much.
Zubaz from Dive Kick. Oh yeah, All Might winning Sac Anime, All Might's debut. He wins the belt from Daniel. But,
Oh,
But
man.
seriously, Rico Zubaz was one of the funniest I've seen in a long time, because it is just him putting himself down constantly,
And the thing
and
about
the
that,
bar just keeps
oh, I'm sorry.
getting lower and lower and lower, and I could not stop cracking up
I
the
think
entire 5
the
minutes.
the line that he said that made me laugh my ass off is, "I'll kick your ass faster than my mom kicked me out of her basement."
And the thing about that is, the Baz is actually like a character concept from Street Fighter 2 that was rejected. Like, it's a very niche character that he was able to bring out and really bring the thunder.
Bring the thunder. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Arr.
Hardy whore. But in summary, HentaiCon was great. Very social, very chill. Jill and I got to watch Ellie's panel on cosplay, which is not consent, which was both very informative and is not the panel you think it would have been in terms of like what she promotes and what she forbids. Uh, so I wanted to give a shout out to that, like how if I mean your average anime fan when they hear cosplay is not consent, they're thinking it's a panel full of no's, like no you can't take sexy photographs, no you can't touch, blah blah blah. When reality, Ellie's message is yes you can as long as you ask permission and respect boundaries.
Which
And
is something a lot of people need to
yeah,
hear.
we need to hear. And there was this brilliant point. She goes, "Hey, if you want a sexy photo, she doesn't say you can't take sexy photos. Full stop. They said just ask." And then Ryan chips in and is like, "Hey, if you ask, you'll probably get an even sexier photo." And I was like, "Pfft." Like people need to hear that.
There you go.
HentaiCon was great. They treated us amazing. Um, I know this sounds real soon, but I absolutely hope they come back because I would love to have the hen title be a yearly thing that's defended.
Yeah. Oh man, we had a really great time.
Oh yeah, like the whole concept just grind like it gets the gears moving for a different aspect of how to approach the show, and that's just the fun in it. Which
Also, when you have large shows, you kind of get stressed sometimes. A lot of people, I
Oh God,
understand,
yes,
because it's public speaking,
large shows stress me out still.
and and you're able to test some of your more fun things versus some things that you might want to use to actually win, like the belt or something. So you get to play around.
Oh, Daniel writes, when I left the room after round two, I stood in the hallway for the rest of the show. The Killer T chants were so loud, people kept coming to peek through the door to see what was going on.
That's great. That's fantastic. Honestly,
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, thumbs up
uh,
to Evolution, thumbs up to HentaiCon, thumbs
thumbs
down
down
for
to
Crown
Crown
Jewel.
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 It's as if you got kicked in the crown jewel.
I like that's.
So, you plan on coming to the next show, right, Robert? Which we
Of
hope will be
course.
ALA.
Yes, I should I let people know, gee, what's going on for ALA, or are
Right
we?
before you let people know, I have to real quick give. I should have said this earlier, but this is time for the pause for the cause. That's right. We're going to talk about a little bit of pro social media plugins.
Ah,
I also realized how bad of a pun that name is for me. Has
why?
that pause for the
Because
cause?
because you let too much dead air go on.
Because your last name is.
Pause.
Oh,
Cause so I am the
oops.
pause for the cause.
Got it.
I hate myself for thinking about it. Anyway, for those of you listening, still listening, that first off, thank you very much for hearing us for episode 2 of Backstage Pass. If you want to find more CWF goodness, please visit us and give us a follow on CWF Network on Twitch, or find us at Facebook under Cosplay Wrestling Federation. If you're on Twitter, you can see us at the CWF Universe. All these places are great sources of updates for future shows, new media updates, and the occasional smack talk here and there.
If you look at the chat, the Moobot has listed the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Meanwhile, I want to give a shout out to Nerdy Bit. It's ran by my friend Matthew, and he provides great bead art for custom apparel and drawings. He made the custom CWF hat that you see me wear everywhere. That was made by him. He made an inverted shirt that's white on black, not shirt, hat, and I want to make sure he has good business. Also, want to give a shout out to Scarlet Rhapsody, who does the Starch podcast, and they do long form convention reviews, and of course, our favorite people covering us, Mission Start Podcasts. All these people have quality content that you should enjoy and support and follow. And so please, if you got a moment, follow them, follow us, and keep updated.
And one last thank you to HentaiCon for having us. We loved it. We had a great time at the convention and with the panel. We hope to see you guys again next year.
And that ends the pause for the cause. So, what was that announcement you had, Robert?
So the shows for 2018 have ended, but January 2019 is going to be a very, very busy month for all of us.
Yes, January 2019, we have Sac Anime, who Black Freight in the chat is reminding us of. Sac Anime Winter is already good to go with Phoenix Wright versus Super Mario in a one-on-one wrestling match. Last time it was tag team. This time it's just going to be Jeremy and Alex wrestling. So that's going to be exciting. We have TaioCon in Arizona, which Kevin and I will be flying out to at the same weekend as... That's your lead-in, Robert.
As Anime Los Angeles, the show will be hosted by Wes Bartel as none other than Mr. Dangerous.
Commissioner
and
Mr. Dangerous.
as Iron Will.
You cut off there.
Oh,
And himself as Ironwell.
Yes, General Manager Iron Will, who debuted at Anime California, along with Commissioner Mr. Dangerous, will be in charge of Anime Los Angeles.
Should be a good time.
Yes, we're still waiting for confirmation, so we're not 100% in. We're working really hard, and if those of you listening, if you could give Anime Los Angeles a friendly tweet or a message saying, I'd like to see Cosplay Wrestling Federation, that will go a long way of getting us through the door.
Actually, yeah. If you have Twitter, go on the Twitter, the ALA Twitter, and tell ALA that you want CWF at ALA. If you have Facebook, do it there.
And it's ALA is always a very important show. Not only does the convention treat us right, but it will be our 6-year anniversary.
6 years. Oh
6
years.
God, 6 years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So G, as we close up, you have a new question for us for next week. Correct?
Oh yes, it's actually going to be a lot simpler.
Mm.
In your opinion, what makes a good baby face?
wow.
Oh man.
I know it's a little basic, but I really like talking about faces and heels. So,
Okay.
that's the question. What makes a good baby face?
Okay.
All right.
And
All right, everyone. With that being said, that's going to be the end of our podcast. My name is Wes Bartel.
my name's Gerardo Paz.
And my name's Robert, and I just want to thank you both for having me on for this special episode number 2.
Oh yeah, man.
Of course, thank you CWF Universe, and thank you Green Room for giving us some lovely comments and questions. So tune in.
All right.
Tune in next time. We'll be back, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.